I'm so excited for today's episode because we have one of my favorite clients, Natasha. Say hi.
Hello. Hello. Hi, Jackie. Hi, everyone.
I love her accent. She is in London. And I had the pleasure of actually meeting you in the flesh, which I
Yep.
absolutely loved. Your story is so special.
Mhm.
It is so inspiring. I know that so many people are going to hear it and absolutely relate to you. It's going to resonate and it's going to inspire the hell out of them.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I'm here for it. Let's talk. Dive
Yeah.
in.
Let's
So
go.
Natasha, tell us about you. Tell me where you were before we connected.
In terms of
Yeah, relationship, love life.
my dating, yeah. So I had broken up from a 2-year relationship in July 2022. It was the worst relationship of my entire life. It just felt like my insecurities just snowballed in that relationship. He wasn't the best either, but that's not to take away my part in that relationship in terms of being a hot mess, and
Yeah.
that is what I was. And then
Well, let me ask you
I,
about that, just to
yeah.
speak to that, because
Mhm.
I do feel like that resonates with me too. Because before Will, I was a hot mess for sure. I was really anxiously attached. Do you feel like you were anxiously attached?
Completely, and especially in that relationship just made me 100 times worse.
Was he an avoidant?
Um, Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
He couldn't. The thing is, I had anger issues,
Mm,
which I've had anger management and I've also had therapy to deal with that. But I did have anger issues, which he couldn't handle. But he kind of almost gaslighted me in a way,
mm.
um, finger pointing at my anger instead of the actual issues, which were kind of created by him. Um,
Right.
and for me now, that should have been a walk away situation, um, because it just diminished my self worth, my confidence. I felt like I wasn't anything without him.
Wow.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I hear that. And I honestly, I feel it when you said that. And so many women are dating people, and men are dating women too
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
also dim their light,
Hmm.
and they feel like less than, like something's wrong. So, and gaslighting them and all that shit. So you were coming out of that,
Yep.
right? And so, yeah, tell us
And
where.
then, yeah, so I spent the entire next 6 months single. Um, I kind of was dipping in and out of the dating apps, went back to the dating apps kind of just before Christmas, kind of November time. I met someone, and they said I was following, because I think we'd kind of met by this point. I think I reached out to you like in August, but
Mhm.
I didn't join your program until January
Yes.
of 2023. So yeah, I was kind of in this limbo really. So I was kind of doing what you advised in terms of, really asking the important questions. And he said he was everything that I wanted him to be. And then, so we spoke for about a month in November, then December, we were kind of dating. By the beginning of January, he'd essentially ghosted me for 3 days. That was after asking him. He started off being quite attentive and planning dates, and then he ended up not really making an effort. I had slept with him, which I know is a no-no in your book before becoming official. So yeah, that was a whole messy situation, and I really should have, after the being ghosted for 3 days, completely ignored his arse, but I didn't. And I sent a really anxiously attached message, which I regret now. And I think if you have to justify yourself or say something back to a guy that's ghosted you, no, why are you wasting that time?
Mhm.
That time you could be investing in another guy who's actually going to put the effort into being with you. So
Yeah.
yeah, so then from that, I was single for about 6 months after that. Um,
So when you were connecting with that guy, because
yeah,
you were following my page on
yeah,
Instagram, and for any of you, make sure you subscribe and also join Instagram page, the Jackie Laura. Natasha's on Natasha Melissa _. And I feel like you were also listening to my podcast too, weren't you, Natasha?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
All
but
of
you
that.
hadn't yet joined the program until
I
January after you
hadn't
got
taken
ghosted.
the leap, exactly.
You haven't taken the leap. This is what I want to know about, because it feels like you were going through your what went on through your head when you like took the leap. I'm just
I
curious.
I just didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to keep messaging guys on apps and going nowhere, and failed relationship after failed relationship. At the end of the day, I want to find my husband. That's what I want to do. And I was kind of becoming more confident in myself. I'd been through the therapy, I'd done the anger management, I'd got out of a really bad relationship, so I was feeling completely revived. And I was like, why am I letting this man that's just been in my life for a month, this situationship, dictate my behavior? Why is he unsettling me? And there was a whole bunch of work there in terms of like safety.
Mm,
I think that's really important, that you should feel safe with someone.
yeah.
And I was just dating really unsafe guys, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, because I've also done so much inner work. I have really improved on myself as a person in all areas of my life. Why am I going to let a guy come in and shake that up in a
Mm.
negative way? So it was kind of a wake-up call, and I think that everything happens for a reason, and that situationship was meant to happen that way so that it would lead me to be pushed into working with you.
Yay!
But yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind of
I feel like
why.
you hit the, I feel like sometimes you have to hit the rock bottom, like I've had
Yes,
enough kind of moment.
yes.
And I love that you were willing to challenge yourself, because like I am a tough love coach. I feel
Hmm.
like, and I love that you were open and able to receive, because you
Hmm.
have such a growth mindset, and that's
Yeah.
freaking gold. Like I
Hmm.
think like I just loved your energy always. Ever since our paths have crossed. I'm
Hmm.
like, Natasha, I knew you and me were gonna work together, because
Hmm.
it was just about the timing,
Yeah,
about
yeah,
when you were like, fuck it, yes.
yeah,
Like now I'm
exactly.
like, so I'm like so excited for people to know that, because by the way, I wanted to say, you being in a situationship, I know people keep experiencing that shit all the time. Okay, so I'm huge about that and how to navigate out of that shit.
Yeah.
But and I'll drop the links to that episode about situationships below too. But speak to like where you are now, because I'm just beyond, and how you got there.
Yeah, so after that and did your program, I basically decided, which is probably what you don't advise, I was single for 6 months. I really just wanted to work on myself a bit more, and really get to know what I want and
Mm,
what I'm looking for. And then it was kind of in the summer, I decided, right, I'm ready, went back on the dating apps. I was on Tinder, Hinge, Bumble. I hate Bumble because of the whole talking first thing.
yeah. I'm
Um,
a fan of Bumble, and
yeah, I
but
hate it.
it's not for everybody. And so that's okay. But I feel
Um,
like what you just said, though, I want to make sure that you're like, you don't advise to be single
yes,
for 6 months.
yeah,
I actually am all about alignment.
yeah,
So if you felt like I'm not ready, something is not like, then don't jump into it. I would never be like, oh yeah, put yourself out there
yeah.
and you're not ready. Fuck that.
Hmm.
Like I want you to be ready. So I'm glad that you honored that and how you felt, right? So
Yeah,
then you finally were intentionally going on the dating apps.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was on the three of them, and then I ended up dropping Bumble and Tinder. I just felt like I wasn't getting anywhere with them, and at least in my local area, I felt like Hinge had more quality matches. So in terms of like the way that you do things, which is you ask all the questions, you say you've done that, you did that on a date, on your first date. I did that on the app.
No,
So
and that's exactly
yeah,
what I tell
I
women in
mean,
the program.
if you're
Like,
on
yeah,
if you're on the dating apps, just don't waste your time going on dates. Like you find out the
100%.
questions, and then you can verify in person whether that matches up. They're who they say they are. Um,
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, like, just to make sure, because I met Will before apps were out. I feel like the reason why so many of my clients find love online is the way that you show up on the messaging in the apps. It's gold. I love online dating apps. And by
Yeah.
2031, 50% of all couples have
Yep.
already met online. I'm like,
Yep.
everyone needs to get on the fucking, like, on
Yep.
board.
Yep.
I need to get on board with the dating. So I love that you're intentional. You're on Hinge. You're asking the questions.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Sounding good. I'm
Yep.
proud. I'm proud of
Yep.
you.
And you know, there were some really nice guys that I spoke to, but literally you'd get along fine, things in common, they want the same things, and then boom, a red flag. Nope, sorry, don't want to deal with this. So kindly and politely say, yeah, I don't really think there's you know, more of a romantic connection here. You're a great
Mhm.
guy, but that's it, kind of thing. And everyone's been really nice. You know, I haven't had a guy come back and go, you know, insult my ass or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
I love it.
everyone's been, yeah. I mean, if you're looking at the right guys and they've just got a red flag, or it's something that's they're missing something on your list, or there's something on your list, you know, like you can actually, you know, politely decline continuing the conversation. And if they're in the right headspace to you, they will also be like, well, thank you for letting me know. And actually, what I found is men find it so refreshing when you're honest, when you're direct and honest.
Yeah.
Like, guys can't put up with, you know, all the catty, you know, sly behavior. You
No.
know, unfortunately, they're not as it's mostly not as intelligent as us females. You know, we tend to be a little bit more on the sly, you know, in terms of finding out information. But I was just very honest, upfront, direct. And yeah, I mean, the worst it's been is, okay, well, good luck finding the right person. And that's what it's been.
Yeah,
So
and I think I love that because you don't have to play. Sometimes we put this pressure on ourselves, be the good girl,
yeah.
and oh my God, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to do like, and I'm all about really making yourself the priority
Hmm.
and you honoring what you want. And if this is a priority for you to find your person and you're being intentional about it, when you discover that something is not aligned to you and what you truly want in a partner, it's bye-bye time, and in a
Yeah.
respectful way, saying this isn't the emotional
Yeah.
connection or this is not the
Yeah.
connection that I'm looking for, but I wish you all the best.
Yeah.
Nothing about that is bitch. Like
Hmm.
nothing about
Hmm.
that. That's someone who's emotionally mature.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I love that you're like saying to the ladies and the people, like, hey, you can do that. And they will receive it and be like, thank you. You didn't waste their freaking time, playing
Exactly.
games and shit. Awesome.
The thing is, guys are also don't want decent guys, the high quality guys, the guys that are looking for the same thing that you are looking for. They
Mhm.
don't want to play games either.
Exactly. Exactly.
So they're not much
Exactly.
different to us.
So what was the difference with Dean?
Dean,
Like,
yeah.
I'm
So
just-
yeah. So then after all of this saying no, we started talking. Um, and you know what was so funny? So I went on holiday with my parents to Spain, middle of August. And a guy that after the situationship in January, there was another guy I was chatting to roughly the same time. It was a tech station ship. So it was basically a two
spit some
weeks.
freaking water out. Shut up.
That's a new thing, apparently. So it was 2 weeks of non-stop chatting. It was actually on voice notes, back
Wow.
and forth, getting on so well. And then I basically asked him if he, you know, wanted to meet up. And then he ghosted me for 3 days. And that's the point where I was like, not having any of this. So anyway, he basically came back into my life whilst I was on my last day in Spain before I got back home. He messaged me on WhatsApp and he basically wanted to get back into my life. He was like, I miss you. And I'm like, what? It's been like 6 months, no, 8 months. Like, why has it taken so long? So I essentially said, okay, well, we can talk. Like, at the end of the day, it's you have to make the effort because you're wanting to come back into my life. So yeah, and by the end of the week, he'd basically, I basically said to him, look, you're wasting my time. Like,
Good for
that's
you.
it, done, and cut it off. And then about a week later, so this is like the end of August, that's when I matched with Dean, um,
On what? On Hinge?
on Hinge.
Uh-huh.
Um, and yeah,
Yeah, but
that's
notice
basically it.
I got goosebumps, and I need everyone to hear that again. And this is like so gold. Sometimes people are like, oh, I'm just going to talk to him for fun until I meet my person. It doesn't work like that. It does not. It's like when you're being so intentional, you know your worth, you know what you
Hmm.
want. You're
Hmm.
like, oh, this isn't aligned to me. You're wasting my time. Bye bye.
Yes.
Bye
Yeah,
bye.
that's what it is.
Do you say bye bye or no?
I
Like
didn't say bye bye. No, I was like, "Look, I'm done with this. You're wasting my time.
I know, but like in
Don't
real
talk to me
life,
ever again."
no, but in the UK, do they say bye bye or do they say something else? Like I'm just saying bye, like in regular life.
It'll
Bye.
probably be something like F off.
Okay.
At least for me.
So like I feel like that is so important to create the space and tell the universe, oh yeah, this is not aligned to
Exactly.
me. I do not want this.
100%.
Make space to receive. A week later, you guys, are you listening to that?
Yes.
Dean
Yes.
comes into your life. Match. Okay, so tell me, how did that conversation go as you're texting back and forth with Dean?
So yeah, so we talked for about a week and a half to 2 weeks on Hinge. Like he didn't ask, he was very, very slow. And I was a bit like, this is so different because usually guys, after a couple of days, if not a day, after talking, they want to swap, go on WhatsApp or whatever. He wasn't. He was very slow, and I was like, "What is this? This is different." The conversation was very intentional. Again, what are we about? What our interests are? What our lives are like in terms of work and family and friends. What are we looking for? He straight away said, I'm on a wife hunt.
Yeah, wife hunt. I
So
love
it
it. I
came
love
from
it.
him, not
Cute.
me. I wasn't the first to say, lay my cards on the table. So
And by
already
the
I was
way, I do want to add to that, and I think it's so important too. It's like I say, don't lead the witness. Like I love showing up with positive, your heart on your sleeve. I love the idea of being positive, like I'm gonna find my person, right?
like,
But that being said, I think it's so important to ask questions, open-ended questions, and listen to
yeah,
what they say and don't lead them. So you didn't say, I'm looking for my husband, what about you? Like
no,
obviously, I love that you listened to what he said.
yeah,
Amazing. I'm so proud
yeah.
of you. Oh my God. I'm like, everyone take notes. Sorry, so go on. Go on.
Yeah, so it was just getting to know each other, and I was like, wait, is a red flag going to come up? Wait, it's almost like I'm waiting for
Oh,
something on my
wow.
list not to be met, and nothing. I mean, everything was kind of voluntary with him. It's almost like he was me, but in male form. It's just like, yeah, and it kind of the whole process was just so simple and so easy and so sweet. Like,
Mm,
it's like, hold on, like, we're always looking for sexy encounters with men, people that we find hot, or, like it's supposed to be like this butterfly feeling in our stomach, which is essentially just anxiety.
yeah.
We're supposed to be, I don't know where we got it, where we're supposed to chase men. Like, we're not
Yeah.
here to chase men. Like,
Yeah.
that's, and I'd had those ideas in my head,
Yeah.
um at least from the modern date in the modern world and the modern woman, like you can go out and get what you want kind of thing.
Hmm.
So it was kind of different to play a
Oh,
more traditional role.
I know, and I'm glad you brought those kind of questions to the group because we have that private Facebook group, and I remember you asking about things like that, and we talked. I love that we were connected, and you were like not afraid to always like, hey, this is my journey, da da da.
Mhm.
Like I do feel like that trait about you, that you're like the universe provides lights on your path.
Yep. Yep.
And I feel that's the message across, like we're in the fucking matrix where it's like, play the game and you should feel a certain way, which could be really fucking toxic.
Yeah.
And so I do love that you were like noticing this difference with Dean. I love that you said too that like it was so easy because
Yeah.
people are like think, oh my God, dating is so hard. And I'm always saying this and I will repeat it forever. It only feels hard when you're dating the wrong person. And like with Will, when I met him on our fucking first date, it felt so easy. It was like, shut up. And I love that you felt that. And so how
Yeah.
long have, so wait, I'm like just jumping the gun. I'm just so excited. So where are you guys now? How long have you guys been together? What's going on?
So on the 14th of March, it'll be 6 months. So pretty early days, but yeah. And we're going to
Now,
Iceland, so that's
I
quite romantic.
I love that you're going to Iceland to celebrate. It's going to be how many months?
6 months, yeah.
6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, Natasha, let's get something together. We'll propose on our 6-month anniversary.
Okay.
Just say no, and I'm not saying this to pressure Dean. There's no pressure at all. What I'm trying to say to you is this: is Abraham Hicks said this, and I love it. It's not about timing; it's about alignment. I feel like you've gone through so much.
Yeah.
You've learned so much. I
Yeah.
feel like it's not like, oh my God, it's so soon. It's too fast. No, I'm like, girl, you have so much clarity. I'm
Mm-hmm.
so proud of you. I'm
Mm-hmm.
so confident in you. I'm like, if you're seeing that he's aligned to you and his actions keep aligning to his words, and you guys are completely on the same page, hell yes. Dean,
Yeah.
I'm approving this, Dean. If you're listening to this, we gotta do another episode with him here. I'm like, oh, you look so cute, you're glowing. Oh my God, if you guys don't, you have to see this on YouTube, and I'll also post it on my IG. Natasha, you're glowing talking about him, and I think it's so sweet. How do you feel? How do you feel?
I think I'm the most happiest I've been in a long time, but it's not this kind of excited, giddy happiness. It's just complete peace. Like, to be with someone that I love, that's my best friend, that I know we've got the rest of our lives together, and like we're planning for it. Like, we've got the dreams, we've got the goals. Yeah, like I'm just so happy. And
I love it.
yeah,
It sounds like crazy love. It sounds like my kind of crazy when I say that, right? A love where you could be completely real and authentically, zenfully you.
100%.
It's like that
100%.
freaking peace. It's like home.
Yeah,
It's
at home, safety, home, peace. We can laugh, like, we're so goofy together. We like the same things. We have so much to talk about, talking till 5 in the morning. It's just, yeah.
yeah, and guess
Um,
what? It only gets fucking better. I guess truly what ends up happening. It's just an adventure that just keeps getting better. So like at this point, are you still waiting for some like the other shoe to drop, or are you finally embracing this?
no, 100%. I think probably about 3 months in, I was still going, if about the future. And he was very much like, when, like when I marry you, when we live together, when we have our dogs. And I was like, if. And then I think it was probably about the 4 month mark. I was like, fuck it. Why am I being cool? Like, why am I, pretending like, I'm not affected by this? Of course I am. He's an amazing guy, and I'm an amazing woman, and we've both met, and this is an amazing, like, it feels very, hate to say the soulmate thing, but that's what it feels like. So yeah,
I'm a
like,
fan of the soulmate thing. Why would you hate the soulmate thing? Listen, I love it. I'm here for it. I think that honestly, to me, like as you're saying it, I could just feel it. Like my hairs just stand up, the chills, the goosebumps. I'm so, I'm going to your wedding, right? Just throwing that out there. I just see it all happening, and you deserve it. I'm
mm-hmm.
so freaking happy for you. I cannot tell you enough. And I appreciate you sharing your story, because
Yeah.
you've been through a lot. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that this is going to resonate with people and inspire them not to freaking give up. Like
Yeah.
it exists. Universe wants to
Yeah.
deliver, make space,
Yeah.
get support. Like you don't need to do it alone. Like I just, love you, Natasha. I think it takes vulnerability
Mm-hmm.
to keep showing up for yourself, to keep like really, you never gave up on yourself and what you really wanted. That takes a lot of courage. So I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would Dean be up for doing a podcast down the road?
Potentially.
That could be so fun. Should I bring Will on board? It could be like oh my God, be like a double date cuteness like on a podcast. Or we could just hang out in London or Tenerife. It's fine. We'll just go hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here so much. Is there anything else that you want to share before we like wrap up?
I just think, first of all, you have to be vulnerable, but I feel like you have to be vulnerable in all areas of your life. I also feel like the way you would treat your job, for example, is how you should treat your love life. You know, you've got your goals, you've got, you know, your action plan, what you're looking for, what you're not looking for. So if that's exactly what you really want, then put your mind to it and do it. And yes, you might need to do a bit of inner work, but that's all part of the journey. And doing the inner work, it might be scary. It is scary. And definitely if you've had therapy, there are ups and downs in therapy, but it is 100% useful. And not just for your relationships, but generally speaking, for your confidence, for your self-esteem. And yeah, I just feel like you should 100% throw yourself at it. If you've got any fears, then you talk to you or the club on Facebook.
Yeah. So that's
And
what
yeah,
I was gonna ask you that, like in terms of, so you've done a lot of inner work, you've done therapy, you've done a lot of that. What do you feel like you got from doing, like working with a coach, like, you know, in my program, working together? What do you feel like was the biggest benefit?
I think it's just important to have, whereas therapy, your therapist isn't going to tell you what you should do.
Oh yeah,
Or
I
when you're
told you
doing
that.
something wrong. And actually working with you, it's very much like, no, that's wrong. No. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you? So it's nice to have someone to walk alongside you. But the tough love works with me. It might not work with everyone, but it definitely works with me. You know, sometimes I need a kick up the arse.
And
So
I
yeah,
love kicking the ass. So
yeah,
it
exactly.
was a match made in heaven. Thank you,
Exactly.
Natasha. And listen, as you're on your journey, if you ever need a kick in the ass, I'm always here for you, honestly. But it sounds like you and Dean are so aligned. I'm excited for you guys. Sending you
Thank
so
you.
much love. Thank you for sharing your story. And of course, I'll see you inside the club. Thanks, Natasha.
Thank you, Jackie. Bye.